Beautiful scenes around Manhattan, Kansas today belie the impassioned feelings about a basketball game tonight. The Jayhawks arrive ranked 5th in the nation and traditionally have done well against their in-state rivals. Awaiting is Kansas State and a purple frenzy in the Octagon of Doom. A great ending to rivalry week is next. Welcome to Big Monday, presented by Bud Light as part of Rivalry Week on ESPN. Tonight's Big 12 matchup features 5th-ranked Kansas and Kansas State from Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan. Kansas tied atop the Big 12 standings with Missouri at 10-2. Kansas State 5th in league play at 6-6. Hi, everybody, alongside Bob Knight, I'm Dave Pash. Coach Kansas has shown that it can win on the road in difficult environments, having won at Baylor last week. But Kansas State's very good at home, beat Kansas here last year, and recently beat Missouri here by 16.
I think the most important thing with Kansas State is what you just said. They're beating Missouri, because I think Missouri is as good as anybody in the country. But Kansas played Missouri even at Missouri last week. I think it's going to be a heck of a ball game here tonight. And I think one thing that will be really important is who stays out of foul trouble.
Yep. Well, one guy that's been key for Kansas lately, Jeff Withey. Obviously, everybody knows about Thomas Robinson, perhaps the player of the year, but Withey really has stepped up his game.
I think Withey makes him an entirely different team, Dave. He gives Robinson a chance to do some other things. He's very good with both hands inside. He's a tremendous free throw shooter. He's blocking some shots along the way. He just adds another dimension to Kansas. Look at this pass. He knows where other people are. I think as he has developed in these last 4 or 5 games, he may be the most important player in this conference going into the tail end of the season.
All right, Coach, time now for our one-on-one segment. Instead of listening to us, let's hear from the players and coaches involved in tonight's rivalry game.
This state is basically divided in two. You're either a Jayhawk or you're a Wildcat.
It is a classy, if that's possible, heated rivalry.
Bragging rights. That's what I think about when, I think about us going against K-State.
The crowd's going to bring it because this is a big game. Every fan lives for the Kansas K-State game.
Two schools that are opposites.
It's amazing. It's a good feeling to be able to be a part of it.
And Tyshawn Taylor playing as well as any guard in the country right now. He'll be joined by Elijah Johnson, Relaford, Robinson, who averages a double-double. And the guy the coach talked about, Jeff Withey. Angel Rodriguez starting again, the freshman point guard, along with Spradling, Magruder, Samuels, and Henriquez.
You know, you mentioning Taylor. Taylor can have some bad moments, too.
Mark Whitehead, Joe DeRosa, Terry Oglesby are officials. You mentioned Taylor's had some bad games. He had 6 turnovers in the meeting here at Bramlage a year ago as K-State knocked off then number 1, Kansas. Jayhawks were number 10, but they jumped 5 spots in this week's poll to number 5 as Taylor is off the mark with the game's first shot out of bounds to Kansas State.
You know, Kansas State started off with very, very aggressive individual man-to-man defense, Dave.
Kansas State has won 11 consecutive home February games. They haven't lost at home in the month of February in 3 seasons. And it's a key game for them as they try to build that resume. We mentioned the win over Missouri. They've also lost to Oklahoma a couple of times, a team that's had a bad season. Here's Rodriguez on the drive. And finds Spradling in the opposite wing. Shot clock at 7. Spradling no. And rebounded by Withey, who's coming off a game in which he had 20 rebounds against Oklahoma State.
Rodriguez has got to be careful on offense that he doesn't get into too much of a dribbling contest with the Kansas defense.
Robinson, great spin, and fouled on the way up. First foul in the ball game. As Thomas Robinson, one of the best players in college basketball, will go to the free throw line.
You know, what Robinson can do, Dave, and do so well is go either way. He plays very good post play, but he can go to his right shoulder or his left shoulder as he does there, and he's very quick at doing it. You have to have a second guy come in to defend on Robinson when the pass is made to it.
Kansas has had 27 consensus All-Americans. That's the most of any school. And Robinson will be number 28. In fact, he might be the player of the year. Over his last 4 games, 21 points, 14 rebounds per game. He is second in the country in double-doubles as he goes 1 for 2 there, and it's rebounded by Henriquez.
And you know, Whiffy is going to make Robinson all the better because he will take some of the pressure away from Robinson.
Rodriguez had trouble with a dribble, almost turned it over. Then Magruder is fouled, and that'll go on Robinson, the first on Kansas.
It's what we mentioned a moment ago, that Rodriguez has got to be careful with the dribble. He just can't over-dribble and think that the Kansas State offense is going to be built around him bouncing the ball.
Averaged 11 points per game as a starter, 9th straight game in which he started. Freshman from Miami. He did not score in the first meeting with Kansas. Jayhawks blew out the Wildcats. But Fog Allen, the worst loss for Kansas State this year. Samuels trying to post up, and Rodriguez threw it over his head. Fifth year for Frank Martin. Led Kansas State to the Elite Eight 2 years ago. He's the first Kansas State coach with 20 or more wins in each of his first 4 seasons here in Manhattan. As Taylor is called for traveling, a Kansas turnover.
That's the kind of move we were talking about Taylor's capable of making, Dave. There wasn't anywhere he was going to go with the ball. He was defended really well and actually got off balance.
But as you said, also, he's had some games where he's been great. And you look in league plays, 3rd in the conference and scoring at 18 points per game, conference games. Here's Magruder getting into the lane. And Taylor got a piece of that on the way up. Offensive rebound. And Samuels hit the bottom of the rim. But he was able to get it to go with a second chance.
That was the best offensive possession that K-State has had because Rodriguez got other people involved in the possession rather than just using the dribble.
Robinson turns it over, and then Taylor with a great strip and steal on Rodriguez. Taylor, alley-oop to Robinson. What a play by Taylor.
He's very good at seeing what's going on the court. That was a great defensive play just to stay in bounds, but then he knew right where Robinson was. Taylor's very good with that little alley-oop pass.
He beat everybody down the floor, too, after getting the steal. Magruder, the leading scorer for Kansas State at 15 points per game. They get Rodriguez coming off the screen.
Might have been a little walk there.
Magruder comes through now. Shot clock at 4. And bailed out by a foul with 4 to shoot. It's a shooting foul as well. Relaford reaching in. His first personal, second on the Jayhawks.
Okay, we're going to get a little look at it right here. There's a great steal by Taylor. And now he's going to take it in. He knows right where Robinson is and gets the 2 on a little lob pass.
Magruder shooting in league play 87% of the free throw line, but he missed the first.
My guess is that Southwell has come in to get the ball shared a little bit among everybody.
And he's replacing Rodriguez.
He kept the ball in the dribble too much. I'm sure that was not what Coach Martin really wanted.
It's a big environment for Rodriguez. Playing Kansas here for the first time as a freshman. Just been a starter the last month or so.
Kansas State's got to be careful with that full court pickup because Kansas is awfully good at getting the ball down the floor quickly. Kansas State did a great job here getting back.
And a jump ball. Robinson missed the layup on the possession arrow. It will go to Kansas State. They got what they wanted, though. They had Robinson under the bucket, but he just blew it.
And that almost to me looked like he got his feet tangled up because he wasn't going up very strong with it. Usually the thing that he does is just put it away. He goes up and dunks the ball from any place from 2 steps to the bucket to right under the bucket.
Here's Magruder defended by Relaford. And fading away, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound, and then Whiffy, who leads the conference in blocks, may have gotten a piece of that. Relaford racing back down court for the angle cutoff. Now Johnson on the drive, swatted away by Henriquez. But saved to Robinson. Now Johnson, a wide open three. It's good.
Kansas is not lacking in people coming off the bench either. They go about 9 deep that can play against anybody.
That's the 41st three for Elijah Johnson. Then a three on the other end by Jamar Samuels, just his 9th of the season.
Early in the game, it may be too early to say this, but that was a big bucket for Kansas State right there.
Here's Taylor blowing past 2 defenders and putting it in.
When Taylor puts the ball on the floor, there has to be a second defensive man coming to it, or he's going to split guys and get to the bucket all night long.
Spradling off the handoff, going baseline, finds Magruder in the corner. Can't bury the three. And Robinson with the easy rebound. Kansas with an early 2-point lead. Here's Taylor firing a three, and Tyshawn Taylor shooting 43% from behind the arc.
That shot was made under a little bit of pressure, too.
He's got 5 of the 11 Kansas points. Coming off a game in which he was 0 for 5 from 3 against Oklahoma State. They get right back on track as Southwell bricks that one. And another rebound for Robinson.
Kansas State isn't getting much penetration at all with its offense. They're going to have to do that rather than be content for shots from the outside.
Withy trying to keep it alive after the Relaford miss. Southwell out of there with it for K-State. He'll take it down the lane. Nowhere to go. And Withy with another block. But right there is Samuels to put it in for K-State. Samuels with 7 of the 8 Wildcat points. His final opportunity to play Kansas here at home. The senior from Washington, D.C. trying to make his presence felt.
You got to help on him. That was excellent right there.
And Frank Martin told us today they weren't going to double Robinson a lot as Withy is fouled after the offensive rebound.
Well, they doubled him there, and that's the reason why they got the ball back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And in part by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And Lincoln. Trade up to luxury during the Lincoln Exchange sales event. ESPN College Game Day. Saturdays on ESPN and ESPNU.
Well, this rivalry has been one-sided until lately. Kansas State has split the last 4 meetings with Kansas here at Bramlage, including beating the Jayhawks a year ago when Kansas was #1 in the country. Kansas has won 43 of the last 46, but as mentioned lately under Frank Martin, Kansas State has been better. With more on this rivalry and one of the key players in this rivalry, here's Holly Rowe.
Well, somebody who was really looking forward to playing in this building tonight was Kansas star Thomas Robinson. He pointed out to me today at shoot-around that last year he didn't get a play here in this game. He said, I've never played here in this building, even though he got in for a few seconds his freshman year. He said this might be his only chance to ever play here in Bramlage because he's almost certain to go pro after this season. He said, I was having a hard time sitting out last year. He had just had surgery on his knee, and his team needed him. He said it was killing me. So he's looking forward to going out in this rivalry with a big statement in possibly his only appearance in Bramlage Coliseum.
And Holly's got 3 points, couple of rebounds so far. Going to take a seat for now. As Withy's at the free throw line.
You know, Withy brings a great touch at the free throw line, Dave. He is as good a big man free throw shooter as I've seen in a long time.
With Withy on the floor, how does that make Thomas Robinson a better player?
Well, first of all, Withey really sees. And when he sees Robinson open, Robinson's going to get the ball, and he looks for him. Plus, the defense has got to now split their inside defense between two guys rather than just concentrate on Robinson. The thing that Withey has that is sort of unusual for a big kid like that, he goes either way, both either left or right, extremely well, and can score going either way.
Justin Wesley picked up the foul, his first, and another steal by Taylor. What a great strip. Here he is on the other end with a pull-up three. It's short, and offensive rebound, Elijah Johnson. Rodriguez back on the floor for Kansas State, defending Taylor.
Kansas is very good at moving the ball from one side to the other and looking inside. Had a bad catch there.
And Southwell leaning into the defender, a little bit out of control. He's had trouble twice now.
This will be a lob.
And Withey with the easy dunk. Taylor, number 4 in the Big 12 in assists. He's got a couple already.
Kansas big kids run the floor very well, and they're very good at staying on the opposite side of the ball. And by being on the opposite side of the ball, they're able to score very easily with that lob pass.
Here's Johnson. In and out from three-point range. Rodriguez ahead to Southwell.
I'm not sure that Coach Self was real happy with that three. I think he'd much rather than take a little look and work a little bit, trying to get the ball inside.
How about the backdoor pass by the freshman big guy, Thomas Gibson, to a cutting Magruder?
It was a great cut, but it was also one that just beat Kansas defense, too. They did not react well to the back cut.
And a foul as Gibson was trying to defend Taylor. That'll be the second team foul on Kansas State. Kansas leading Kansas State by 5. And coming up this week's edition of Night Vision, the proper form on a jump shot, as Tyshawn Taylor and the Jayhawks have a 5-point lead on the road.
Hey, could you hold that, please? All right. Here we go. Keep the change. Just over 9 minutes to go. Hello, everybody. Did you? It's the sure sign of a good time. Just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Apparently I didn't get the Thong Thursday memo.
Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Kansas leading Kansas State by 5. In time for this week's edition of Night Vision.
We're going to take a look at the great setup that was here in the Duke, North Carolina game for the winning bucket. Now look at his feet. The shooting foot is forward, knees are bent, the ball's out over his feet, as is his head. However, the defensive man, as soon as that ball is picked up, has got to close the distance and get up in top of him, make him lean back. He just gave him too much room. It was a great setup for the shot, but it was not a well-played defensive possession at all for North Carolina. Great follow-through you can see here. Again, everything was possible because the defensive man did not react to the positioning that he should have stepped into.
Well, you've coached some great shooters either on the Olympic team or at Indiana, Texas Tech, West Point. Anybody in particular that stands out as maybe the best that you coached in terms of a fundamental jump shooter? Nobody I coached, Dave, worked harder to get open than Steve Alford did. Now, we screened a lot for him, but he used those screens, and he was relentless at working to get open. And one of the things I always did was tell our kids, hey, this is not an equal opportunity game. I want the best shooters shooting and everybody else playing defense and passing. I never thought that we need to pass shots around. Let's keep them with the guys that could shoot the best. Well, you said it. Daryl Thomas had the biggest play in the '87 championship game with the pass, right? With the pass. Now, I'm probably the only person that's ever said that, but then I knew more about it than anybody else did. That pass that Daryl Thomas made in the championship game is the best play I've ever seen a kid make under pressure. The key smart for the game winner. Yes. Leaning into Samuels, who has had a great start with 7 points. He can't hit there, and Robinson with the rebound for KU.
They need to go inside as much as they can, because in doing that, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Robinson and Withey, and that's going to tell toward the end of the game.
Great play by Henriquez coming over defensively with the block on Taylor and got past Rodriguez.
He moved when Taylor put the ball on the floor, and that's what we talked about. When the drive has started, the defense has got to react, and in doing so, he took away a basket from Kansas.
Frank Martin's going to the bench again as Rodriguez is going to get pulled. How much of this is nerves right now for him? Freshman playing in this environment.
Well, you know, you don't think any of it is. You think that he's got to listen, he's got to pay attention. We said very early that the ball is in his hands and he's got to be careful with it, and I think the ball has probably been in his hands too much.
Has 4 turnovers by Rodriguez. Good defense again by Henriquez as Johnson misses.
Two great defensive possessions for him in a row. He's been very alert to the drive, and he moves to take care of the ball with a block or deterring the shot twice now.
Henriquez late getting down court. Shot clock at 10. Magruder with the short jumper, able to knock it down to get Kansas State within 4.
Now they're going to have to do some shooting and scoring. They're not going to be able to rely completely on getting the ball inside. That was a very good possession for Kansas State.
Only 2 Wildcats have scored. Samuels and Magruder. Meanwhile, Kansas has been very balanced so far. Led by Tyshawn Taylor, 6 points as Robinson is stripped. Loose ball. Robinson gets it back. Might have walked. Shot clock at 4. T-hand, an open 3 won't go. And 2 Kansas players went for the ball and knocked it out of bounds. It'll go to K-State.
Those 2 big kids from Kansas State have done a great job in inside defense. They have really done a heck of a job against Withey and Robinson, because as we said, Dave, I think that that's the best inside combination that any team in the country has, with 2 guys, Withey and Robinson.
Robinson has 3 points, 3 rebounds. Withey with 4 points and 2 boards so far in the first 11 minutes. Kansas on defense, trying to get out on Samuels, who hit a 3 earlier and missed that time. Here's Relaford. Robinson posting up. Oh, nice catch. And they work it around to Johnson and find Relaford now. Had the reversal, but then couldn't get the bucket. Withey traveled after he got the rebound.
It was really a good call. Sometimes officials get tied up with looking at the ball and don't see what's going on with the feet. And for Mark Whitehead to see that from out on the floor was a really, really alert official.
Especially because there was a lot of contact inside.
Mark Whitehead is one of the better officials. He should have seen that one.
Whitehead, DeRosa, Oglesby are through today.
A good crew, good officials.
Jumper won't go for Irving. Offensive rebound by Samuels. Well, it seems like Kansas State has been really struggling on offense, but they're only down 4. Samuels with 7 rebounds already, go along with 7 points.
Well, I'll tell you, I've really been impressed with the way they played offense inside against Kansas, and that's been the difference in the ball game, keeping them right in it rather than their offense or anything else. Their defense has been very good. Nope.
Stradling missing the 3. Going back to what we showed you in night vision, that fundamental jump shot, you knew it right away when he let it go. He was off balance.
Yeah.
Taylor can't get it to drop. Samuels fouled by Withey. And that's the first on him, 4th on the Jayhawks. Lead by 4 in Manhattan.
Reese Davis with you. Time for our road game bubble watch, and it is a little hairy in terms of trying to make the tournament for Iowa State against Baylor. Bears took care of business, 79-64. Perry Jones III getting 18. Baylor a 9 seed according to Joe Lunardi. Missed a chance for a marquee win tonight.
And Reese, Baylor now 9-4 in the Big 12. Kansas, Missouri tied atop the standings. Missouri beat Kansas earlier this year, the rematch in Lawrence on February 25th.
The team that's really done, I think, something that's most notable is Iowa State getting to the point where they are. Their coaching staff, as well as their players, have done a great job this season.
Meanwhile, both these teams under 30% shooting here in the first half. Kansas on top by 4. It's Kansas State ball. Here's Samuels, double teamed. He's got 8 rebounds, 5 offensive boards already in this game. They go along with 7 points. Shot clock at 9.
Taking their time doesn't hurt anything at all.
Samuels trying to go baseline, lost the ball. It'll stay with Kansas State, 3 to shoot. Rodriguez coming back in. 4 turnovers for Rodriguez. Holly, what did the coaching staff have to say to Angel when he was on the bench?
Well, they just want him to execute what they're trying to call in the game. Earlier in the game, they'd call a play from the bench, the chin play. He didn't do it. He didn't run it. He'd come over and they'd say, why aren't you running these plays? Frank Martin had him in the timeouts, draw up on the whiteboard, and explain to Frank what he's supposed to be doing out there. They just want him and the coaching staff on the same page, and they'll keep him on the bench unless he's going to do it.
Well, that was a bad inbounds pass. When they threw it in, they were going to have to catch it and shoot it, and they had a guy open in the corner and just missed it.
And Relaford with a dunk on the other end. Back to a 6-point lead for Kansas, and now we have a Jayhawk foul. With a 15th foul on KU. It'll go on Young.
All right, right there is the shot that should have been taken, should have been hit. They did a good job getting it in.
Almost another turnover. And now Rodriguez free in the corner. Can't hit the 3. Off of Kansas, right in front of Bill Self. He was arguing the call.
No, that was a good call. Sit down, Bill. That was a good call. Pushed it out.
You're right. Looked like it was off of Young, and now another Kansas foul. That's 16 fouls. And 2 quick ones on Kevin Young.
The thing that's happening with Kansas State's offense, they're being very patient, and they're drawing fouls. They're going to be, they're looking to get into the 1-on-1 situation. That becomes a help to them. Withy's a tough guy playing the ball, inbounding it.
And now an offensive foul is called on Jamar Samuels. That's 2 on him.
See, that's the kind of thing that just drives you nuts, because he got into a little bit of a contest with who was playing him, and now, you know, he's going to have to retaliate a little bit, and it's always the guy that retaliates that gets caught.
So he's got to go to the bench. He's been their best player in the first 13 minutes. He's had foul problems all season.
I don't like Kansas walking the ball up like that, because that kind of sets a slow tempo, which is not what they want to do. The defense is resting when that happens. Withy will screen, and then he'll slide inside.
And Withy got free, and Henriquez comes over and commits the foul. His first, and Withy will go to the line. 16 fouls on K-State.
This again is where we talked about a moment ago. One of the real strengths that Withy has, and particularly for a big guy, he's an excellent free throw shooter.
85% on the year. You see the numbers for the season. Those have gone up. He's had career highs the last 2 games. He had 25 points against Baylor, then 20 rebounds against Oklahoma State. We got more college basketball for you tomorrow. Super Tuesday starting at 7 with Florida, Alabama, followed by a Big Ten matchup pitting Ohio State against Minnesota. Super Tuesday presented by KFC. And Withy misses the second one. Our first game on Big Monday was in the 50s. Syracuse beating Louisville. This one might be headed that way as well in terms of the final score. 19-12 at the 6-minute mark as Withy gets a block. Leads the Big 12 in that category. It'll stay Kansas State ball.
Withy has great patience against the drive. What he first of all does is move into position, so the driver has got to come into him. He's not stepping toward the driver, which eliminates him fouling. He has good patience. He makes the driver come into him, and he has excellent timing in blocking the shot.
turnover by Kansas State. Magruder had fallen down. Henriquez still threw the ball at him as Magruder got hit in the left thigh. And now Henriquez will go to the bench and Victor Ojale will come in. Diaz on the floor, big freshman from Miami for Kansas State, coming off his best game, 11 points against Texas. Somebody's got to score for K-State. Samuels and Magruder, the only guys with points. Robinson down low, and he traveled.
They've done a great job. The thing that Kansas State is doing that really nobody else has been able to do is making it very tough for both Withey and Robinson, whoever is inside playing. They've done a great job making it tough on the inside.
Robinson must have lifted that pivot foot there when he went up. Here's the handoff to Magruder. Kansas State with more turnovers than made field goals here in the first 15 minutes. Rodriguez getting to the bucket, and Withey altering that shot.
That's where Rodriguez has got to be aware of what's waiting for him in there and not try to take it against Withey.
Robinson, that pass a little bit too hot to handle for Withey. But Johnson keeps possession. Relaford with a 2. And it's a 9-point Kansas lead. Timeout, Frank Martin. 21-12, Kansas on top, despite the fact Thomas Robinson only has 1 field goal.
Here we're going to get a look inside, and we've got good defense right there. Robinson sandwiched between 2 guys, and help comes very quickly. They've done a very good job of doubling up on the inside game of Kansas.
3 points for Robinson, but his team on top by 9. Kansas State can't put it in the bucket.
Well, I think they need to spread the floor a little more, but bring it up higher. They've had so many things along the baseline, and they're just not going to get past Withey. They just got to say to themselves, hey, we're not going to go against him anymore.
Taylor with a strip, and Diaz trying to save it out of bounds to Kansas. How much of this is Kansas State offense? How much do you credit Kansas defense with what we're seeing?
I think it's a combination of both things. They're taking the ball in against Withey. How many?
He's got 2 blocks.
And he's altered several shots in there. And you've got to get him up high where you have a chance to get by. And bring the offense up a little bit off the baseline. But what Kansas State is getting by with is really good defense.
Oh, the alley-oop by Johnson this time to Robinson.
And that time, there was no sight on the ball. Samuels did not know where the ball was. Defensively, you can never lose sight of the basketball, and he had no idea where it was there.
Meanwhile, Kansas State without a field goal the last 6 minutes. Another miss. That's 8 consecutive misses from the field. Make it 9. Spradling missing. Diaz there. Lost the ball. Here comes Kansas. Relaford spinning. Can't put it in. The tip won't go. And finally, Diaz able to clear to Spradling.
That was a big missed bucket for Kansas State. That bucket would have really started them on a real downslide, I think. They were very fortunate that Kansas didn't get that one.
9 straight misses, almost 7 minutes since the last field goal for Kansas State. Southwell, short.
Withey got a piece of that one.
Samuels finally ends the drought after 10 straight misses for K-State. He's got 9 of the 14 points. He also has 9 rebounds for the Wildcats. Still just 2 Kansas State players have scored, Samuels and Magruder. Robinson putting it on the floor, spinning, trying to pass to Withey. Got it to him, and a 3-point opportunity for Jeff Withey.
We're going to see a really good offensive pass right here. Defensive man Samuels had lost sight of the ball, and now we're going to look at what Withey does so well inside when he gets the ball. He's very strong going up with it.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on the UPS halftime report, and a nail-biter in Louisville. Syracuse finally breaks the Cardinal jinx. To wait till the last second to do so. And Digger and Hubert will put the Big 12 in the big picture. It's a bubble game in the Big 12 tonight. Show you how it happened between Baylor and Iowa State in a bit.
And Kansas, Reese, trying to make a push for a 1 seed and an 8th straight Big 12 regular season title. Jeff Withey, a big reason for the success the last couple of games after not scoring at Missouri. 25 points against Baylor, had that great game against Oklahoma State, and he has 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 blocks tonight. Holly Rowe has more on Withey.
Well, when I asked Jeff Withey how he was able to come back and have a career high after going scoreless against Missouri, he credited Bill Self. He said, "Coach really got on me. He made me run." And when I asked Bill Self about it, he said, well, let's just say he has touched every step in Fog Allen Fieldhouse. We'd be practicing, he'd be running, but he got the message. Bill Self just asked him to be a presence. He said, I don't care how much he scores, as long as he's intense. And he's kept that up in back-to-back games.
And if he plays like this, Coach, and Tyshawn Taylor can continue playing the way he is, it's going to be a tough out in the NCAA tournament. Jumper drops for Thomas Gibson there. Finally, somebody other than Magruder and Samuels able to score.
Spradling made very good play there. Took the ball in, knew the open man was there, and passed out for an open shot. Now, that's the kind of thing they have to do, and it takes Kansas big men out of the defensive play.
Well, the fact Kansas State 5th in the country in terms of free throws attempted. They've only taken 2 in this game, and in the second half of their last game against Texas, they didn't take any. Shot clock at 5. Tharp with 2. Great pass. Oh, a block by Gibson, though, on Robinson. 5 on 4 as Robinson late getting back on defense. And then Gibson with the lob, and Samuels is fouled by Wesley. That'll put Kansas State at the free throw line. 17th foul, second personal on Wesley.
Was really, really a good pass there. Here we're going to see a great pass and a block from behind. Really good block, but this last offensive move by Kansas State took advantage of them coming up a little higher, the defense in front of them. They got a great lob pass.
Jamar Samuels, who averages just 6 rebounds and 9 points per game, with 9 and 9 already in the half, and a 1-and-1 here. Robinson with a rebound, almost threw it away. Wesley not ready for the pass.
Now again, I think Kansas is making a mistake and not busting the ball up the floor and really getting movement. They're giving the defense a chance to get set up. That was a very, very unnecessary pass. That was just thrown up for grabs.
1 minute to go. Kansas State ball down 10. The jumper by Samuels in and out. Offensive rebound by Magruder. Now Magruder, a 3 from the corner. Kansas State can't hit anything. Johnson, alley-oop to Taylor. And the lead back to 12.
Taylor had great balance. That was a tremendous athletic play right there, that he was able to go up and get the ball under control. Spradling has done a really good job in here, Dave, with what they're doing offensively, Kansas State. He's gotten the ball to people.
Magruder missed the layup. And Kansas State can hold for the final shot of the half after the offensive rebound and the new possession. A timeout by Kansas, so free throws coming up, or a foul rather by Kansas. Earlier this month, Miami beat Duke and Durham. Can they upset another ACC power as they take on North Carolina? Wednesday night hoops at 8 Eastern, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups on ESPN. So a foul on Wesley. That's his 3rd personal. A 1-and-1 as Kansas State just 16 points. And one of the reasons why, Jeff Withey in the middle. Got 4 blocks in this game, Coach. As you talked about, they haven't been able to get him away from that baseline.
Well, they can't let Withey. Let Withey just camp down around the basket. They've got to bring him up to the foul line, where they've got a much better chance of driving baseline and also driving against Withey. I think that would be very important for them to get set up at the halftime.
Withy, a junior, transferred from Arizona. Last year didn't play a whole lot, only about 11 minutes per game.
Well, he's done a heck of a job working and getting himself into physical condition. He's a tough kid. I think he's gained toughness over the year that he sat out and into this year. And all of a sudden, he's a tremendous factor in college basketball, Dave.
Samuels able to get the front end of the 1-and-1. Danny Manning doing great work with Withy, really helping Withy improve his game. Manning, of course, great player at Kansas, one of the best players in the history of the school, all-time leading scorer and rebounder. Won the title the year after he did, as we were talking about, back in '88. Kansas knocked off Oklahoma that year. 10-point game. Kansas on top, and the Jayhawks can hold for the final shot of the half.
They're going to set up right now in a 3-2 zone setup.
5 seconds left. Robinson with 3, finds Teahan for 3, in and out. And it's a 10-point Jayhawk lead at the half. Lowest point total for Kansas State in the first half. Previously, it was 20 in the first meeting with Kansas. Bill Self standing by now with Holly.
Well, Coach Self, you were able to limit Kansas State to a season low in the first half. What's been so effective about your defense?
Our first shot defense was good. We didn't rebound the ball very well, obviously, but our first shot defense was good, and their defense is good, too. We just had too many wasted possessions offensively.
What do you have to do better to not have the wasted possessions?
We got to handle pressure a little bit better. Guys are sped up. We just need to relax and play.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Holly. Kansas on top by 10, and its best offense was alley-oops to Thomas Robinson. 28-18, Jayhawks on top. UPS halftime report with Reese, Digger, and Huber. Welcome back to ESPN Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, part of Rivalry Week on ESPN. From Bramlage Coliseum, where Kansas leads Kansas State by 10. Lowest scoring first half for the Wildcats this year, just 18 points. Back with Bob Knight, Ollie Rowe here as well. I'm Dave Pash. Suffocating defense coached by Kansas. More turnovers than field goals for Kansas State, and just 22% from the field for the Wildcats.
Well, you know, part of Kansas State's game, in fact, a big part of their offensive game is getting the ball inside, either on the drive or feeding the post. And one thing they're going to have to do is get Withy up above the basket, get him up on the foul line where they have some room to drive around it. Right now, Kansas State is really taking the ball inside against Withy, and they're just not having any success with it. Now we're going to see a little post move here up the middle of the lane. Now they've got a pass over the top, and they've got Withy out of the play because they've taken him outside. Now they can either, if they don't have to get the guy in front of them, the defensive man, the offensive man can be in front, but he's going to have a move to the bucket where he can get something done rather than taking the ball right into Withy.
Samuels led Kansas State with 11 points and 9 rebounds for more in the Wildcats. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I was able to talk with Frank Martin at the half, and he said, you know, when your point guard has 5 turnovers and you're 7 for 31, it's hard to beat the #5 team in the country, of course. But he said they're trying to get Rodney McGruder established here in the second half. He said that they want to drive on Jeff Withy, make him move his feet, try to get past him. And they said that McGruder is really their best hope here because they want to use his quickness against the big 7-footer.
McGruder was just 2 of 10 in the first half from the field, but he wasn't alone.
Kansas State's got Spradling in the lineup to start the half, Dave, and I think that's really important because he does a better job with the ball in offense than anybody they have.
And the pass through the hands of Withy, but backside Johnson able to save it. Johnson with a pull-up from just inside the foul line. There's Withy up high with the offensive rebound and a Kansas State foul as Withy has his 5th board tonight. And Rodriguez picking up the foul. His first.
Withy drew the foul because he kept the ball up in the air. So many times the big man gets it and then drops down with his arms with the basketball. Withy kept it right up there and drew the foul.
Another rebound for Withy after Relaford missed. By the way, Thomas Robinson, National Player of the Year candidate, had 6 rebounds, 5 points in the first half. Taylor misfired. He had Spradling the rebound.
That was good defensive possessions by Kansas State.
Spradling, you talked about him starting the second half, and he gets a big bucket.
That's why Spradling should be in the ball game. He's very judicious in selecting shots. He doesn't take bad shots. He does a lot of things with the ball that I don't think anybody else they have can do in terms of getting it to people.
That's his first field goal. He cuts the lead to 8.
Kansas is more effective with Robinson and Withy in a double low post or double medium post than they are with Robinson coming all the way out on the floor.
Rejection by Henriquez, and then down court a bad pass by Rodriguez. Another turnover by the freshman point guard. That's his 6th.
See, that's what we were talking about. That's pass impossible right there. That's not something that you're going to complete any more than 1 out of 5 times. That's why the ball needs to be in Spradling's hands.
Here's Withy. Another block by Henriquez. Now let's see if Rodriguez makes a better decision. He does, finding Spradling. Way off, though, with a 3. 3-on-1 for Kansas. Johnson, alley-oop. Taylor with the stop.
Boy, nobody does a better job than Kansas does in running the floor and getting the high alley-oop pass to somebody on the opposite side.
Samuels hits a 3. Just his 10th on the year, his 2nd of the game.
That's the biggest bucket Kansas State has scored so far.
And then breaking up the alley-oop to Samuels, out of bounds off of Robinson.
That's why I don't particularly like Robinson being outside, because when he's out there, he makes some moves with the ball that better left for guards to do it, while he and Withy are working inside, screening for each other.
Samuels puts it on the floor, driving on Robinson. Gibson with the rebound. Here's Spradling again. Off the mark again, but an offensive board. He had 12 in the first half, kept them in the game. Spradling in the corner. Drives down the lane, a floater with the left hand. Tip wouldn't go, and then Gibson fouled. First on Kansas in the half. And they get Johnson for his first personal. It is a shooting foul.
That was a big offensive possession for Kansas State right there. If he can convert these 2 free throws, then they can feel like they're back in the game.
Gibson just a 53% foul shooter. One of 2 freshmen who starts for Kansas State. Saw him make a great pass in the first half. And also hit a big jumper. Give the Wildcats some momentum.
Well, these will be 2 big free throws.
Look good shooting them. Makes them both. And full court pressure now by Kansas State. They get it over to Relaford. 2 Kansas State players hit the deck, and that leaves Robinson wide open underneath, and he stuffs it through.
I think Kansas State wants to be careful about picking up full court, because when they do, Kansas gets the ball down, and they're going to find an easy way to score against that full court pickup.
That's 7 points now for Robinson. Spradling on the drive, able to knock it down, and a foul. Thomas Robinson picking up his 2nd personal, and a 3-point opportunity for Spradling.
Now that was a really poor defensive play by Robinson. We're going to see where he lets the ball come to him instead of moving out on the floor where he can get in position to take the charge. He was very slow reacting, and that cost him 3 points if Spradling hits this one.
He had made 17 straight free throws prior to that miss. Kansas State, though, getting to the line, something they did not do in the first half. They're 5th in the nation in free throw attempts as Taylor off balance, no. Rebound Samuels. Kansas State ball trailing by 5. Spradling giving him energy to start the half. And Samuels left wide open. Hits it over three. And it's a 2-point game. Timeout, Kansas.
Trailblazers Warriors begins at 10 Eastern, Wednesday on ESPN.
You're either a Jayhawk or you're a Wildcat.
You know, we don't like each other on game night.
Bragging rights.
Every fan lives for the Kansas K-State game.
After scoring 18 first half points, Kansas State has 12 the first 4 minutes of the second half. 2 threes by Jamar Samuels, who has 17 points, 10 rebounds, trying to will the Wildcats to an upset win over number 5, Kansas. It's a 2-point game. Final opportunity for Samuels to play Kansas here in Bramlage in this rivalry. He's a senior. As Taylor is called for over and back. Turnover, Kansas.
Taylor made a crucial mistake in picking up the ball when he crossed midcourt. That's exactly what full court pickup wants to force the offense to do. Kansas State did a great job here in the double up at midcourt. But Taylor was just not alert. Right there's a double up coming. He's got to see that and reverse his field and go the other way. They actually force him into an over and back violation. But his problem was bringing it across midcourt, going right into the trap. He had to see that.
You saw Bill Self talking to his team right after that. Jeff Withey got into his teammates' faces. I don't know if that's something he's been doing all year, but he was extremely vocal during that timeout as Kansas State is back within 2. They're down 10 at the half. And they got a chance to tie or maybe take the lead on this possession. Here's Magruder, and Withey steps up with a huge block. And then Withey.
This is the lob.
On the other end. Oh, got a block on one end. And then comes back down the floor with the alley-oop slam. Now Gibson over Withey. Withey altered that shot. Then he dives on the floor. Jump ball on the possession arrow. It will stay with Kansas State. It all started with Withey during the timeout getting after his teammates.
See, they took it in on Withey there. That's just, you've got to drop pass or you've got to pull up when Withey's there waiting for you. And he does a great job, as you saw there, running the floor.
Kansas State ball. Withey now with 6 blocks after that last one. And the bucket on the other end. Here's Magruder off the screen. Floats in there, and Henriquez will throw it down on the alley-oop.
Now, they got that because they came up off. They made the defense come up higher.
Back to a 2-point game. Withey posting up on Henriquez, finds Johnson, straight on 3, won't go.
Shot fake eliminates the defense right there.
12-4 run over the last 3.5 by the home team.
Now Samuels is doing a good job.
Henriquez
is doing
a move on Withey that time.
Henriquez is doing a really good job getting out high on the high post, Dave, and that's why they were able to get that bucket.
Robinson, offensive foul, and that's his 3rd. Kansas State ties the game, and then Robinson picks up his 3rd personal.
Boy, Henriquez and Samuel have played about as good against these 2 big guys at both ends of the floor as I think you're going to see do against Kansas.
Enriquez had the play on defense. Here he is on offense. Could have called Withy for a foul as well.
Yeah, that should have been an attempt at 3 right there. There should have been a foul there.
Kansas State has led one time when it was 2-1. Looking to take the advantage here. That's off the leg of Relaford. Holly has more on Henriquez, who was having a lengthy conversation with Frank Martin after practice.
Well, Frank Martin used that opportunity to try to motivate Jordan Henriquez tonight. He gave him the start, only his 7th of the season. And what he told him is, look, Jeff Withy did nothing a year ago, and now he's controlling play in the Big 12. That's what I want from you. You can be that type of player, and we need that impact from you tonight. He's stepping up in the second half, guys.
Rodriguez trying to save it. Taylor with the rebound. Rodriguez missed the layup. Taylor to Johnson. Reverse layup good, and Kansas back on top.
They being Kansas, are about as good as making the pass at the end of the break as any team in the country. They don't screw things up very often with that movement to the bucket in an open court situation.
And a foul call on Johnson, his second, 14th foul on Kansas.
Here we're going to see Kansas 3-on-1, 3-on-1.5 maybe. They make the pass at the absolute right time. He moved the ball a little bit to the right. The defense had to move with him, and then we had an opening back to the left.
How about this, Coach? 14-2, fast break points in favor of Kansas.
Well, you know, the break is a big part of their game, and they do it so well. They add that alley-oop into it, and they know where everybody is.
Samuels missed the 3, went off the foot on somebody, and ends up in the hands of Magruder.
Rodriguez has done a much better job of handling the ball here in the second half thus far than he did in the first half.
Samuels goes behind the back here, Spradling, and he knocks down to 2, and we're tied at 36.
That's why, as we said earlier, they need Spradling in the game.
Kansas atop the Big 12 standings, tied with Missouri at 10-2. Kansas State is 6-6, has some good wins. But obviously a win over Kansas would improve its resume for the postseason significantly. Relaford from the corner. Way off of the 3. Bodies on the floor. And a Kansas State foul. They get Spradling for a second personal.
Oh, that's really a costly foul there. That was a shot that wasn't going to hit anything, and it enables Kansas to keep the ball for another possession with the full clock.
Second team foul on K-State. Gibson comes in. Spradling went to the bench. Southwell into the game. And Samuels will go take a seat for now. What a game, though, for Jamar Samuels. 17 points, 10 rebounds.
Boy, I like Spradling in the game. I wouldn't want to keep him out too long. He adds a lot to what they're doing.
Taylor. Long 3. Can't get it. And Gibson able to box out Young and get the rebound. Another opportunity for Kansas State to take the lead.
Gibson did a great job right there defensively.
And Withy with a block, but a foul call. That's the second personal on Withy. 5 team fouls on Kansas. Tie game here at Bramley. Kansas State tied with Kansas, 11:49 to go, second half. Super Tuesday, presented by KFC on ESPN, features the SEC at 7 with Florida, Alabama, followed by the Big Ten at 9, Ohio State and Minnesota. Kansas dominated Kansas State in the first meeting earlier this season, out rebounding the Wildcats by 24. That was the worst ever for a Frank Martin coach team. But tonight, tables have turned. Kansas State is plus 13 on the glass, plus 11 in offensive rebounds. A big reason why they've gotten back in this game, as Gibson's at the free throw line looking to give the Wildcats the lead.
Now, with Withy out of the game, they've got a better opportunity to use their 2 big guys inside. They've got Southwell and Gibson inside now, and they can use them better than they can with Withy in the game. We'll see.
And Robinson, who has 3 personal fouls, is back on the floor for Kansas. First lead for K-State since the opening moments of the game. It's playing out similarly to last year. Kansas blew out Kansas State in the first meeting. The Wildcats beat them here in the second meeting when KU was #1.
Kansas gets going from side to side, always looking for Robinson inside like there.
And he's blocked that time by Henriquez. Loose ball. Robinson on the floor. Gets tied up with Rodriguez right in front of the Kansas bench. And it will be Kansas ball on the possession error. Shot clock at 7. It does not, as there is an injured Jayhawk. It's Robinson who was shaken up. He dove on the floor for that loose ball.
This has been a defensive effort by Kansas State that is probably the best that Kansas has faced so far this year.
They call this place the Octagon of Doom, and that was a wrestling match for the basketball.
Now, Kansas State has got to try to force the pass to go out as far on the floor as possible. They just got 7 seconds left. Kansas has on the clock. Don't give them something that's easy for them. Make them put it on the floor. Make them end up with a couple of seconds to go and have to take a bad shot. That's what you're telling the Kansas State defense right now. Make them throw the ball out away from the bucket.
Young had some blood on his left elbow. Withy's coming back in the game. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Kansas down one. A turnover into the backcourt. But no, it wasn't a turnover. As Taylor with 1 on the timer hits a 3. Kansas back on top.
It looked like a push-off out there on top. That's a bucket that I don't think should have happened.
Taylor never had possession, so not an over and back violation.
It was a huge Kansas bucket.
Foul inside. They're going to get Taylor. It's actually only his first. They have a 16th foul on Kansas. You see there, no turnover because Taylor did not have possession. Then he beats his man and nails a 3.
What did that push-off look like to you?
Looked like a foul.
Yeah, I thought so too. That was a big 3-pointer after what may well have been a foul.
With a right hand, looked like he pushed off on Rodriguez, who misses a 3. Robinson up high, snatches that rebound. Kansas ball, 2-point lead midway through the second half.
This is really a crucial point for Kansas State. They've got to stay in it right here.
Robinson is swinging around to Johnson. Back to Robinson. Taylor got it rejected, but got it back. Shot clock at 8. Taylor for 3. Again, Tyshawn Taylor with the triple.
Nobody jumped him. Somebody just let him alone. Nearest defensive man, when that pass was given to Taylor, had to jump him right there and take the shot away.
Well, Tyshawn Taylor has been terrific the last few weeks of the season. Hit a couple of big 3s. First.
Oh, look at that push-off.
That beat the shot clock, and then here's the last one, Coach.
This one was where nobody got to him.
$16 points for Taylor. 3 triples in the ball game, and Kansas, which was down just a moment ago, now a 5-point lead after those back-to-back 3s.
Kansas State's working well with their 2 postmen inside. They screen and move for each other. Had good patience here. Not with that one. Of course, the clock was running down.
Samuels with the offensive rebound. Well, they expended a lot of energy getting that lead. Now they're down 5. Let's see how they respond.
Well, these 2 possessions are critical here. This one right here. They lost that one, and now this offensive possession for Kansas. Kansas won that first possession. Now here's the second one I was talking about.
Taylor going backdoor, but they defend it well. And now Johnson looked like Withy may have pushed off, but no call. Withy with the rebound putback, and the lead is 7 for Kansas.
Winning those 2 possessions, although it's just a point on the defense where they didn't give up any points, and the point on offense was that they got a bucket. That was a huge double possession for Kansas.
8-0 run by the Jayhawks. Here's Gibson from the foul line. Can't get the bounce. Tapped out, though, to Rodriguez, and he got hit in the face. They're not going to call a foul, though, it appears.
I think that
Taylor hurt his finger.
Taylor hurt his hand.
No foul was called. Frank Martin is out onto the court. Taylor hurt his finger there.
Hey, Abe Lemons used to have a great comment on this, Dave. Abe was one of the great coaches that nobody really knew a lot about. Abe would say somewhere they'd call that a foul.
And Taylor really was hurt. He had to go over to the trainer, have that left hand work done really quick.
They might have called a foul on Kansas State for somebody's head hitting Taylor's hand.
McGruder, a lot of contact inside, no call.
Cannot take it in on him. That's a wasted time taking it in on Withy.
Here's Taylor. This time off target on the three-point try. This is non-shooting hand that he hurt last time down the court. As Southwell line drive three is off target. Withy with the board.
Now, see, the last thing that Coach Self wants is for Taylor to come down and throw up that three without working the offense a little bit. You start working the offense here, you're going to get to the free throw line. They do a good job outside with it, and then they look.
Robinson, not a lot of touches on offense. 7 points. And a foul here on Kansas State. That's on Samuels, and that's 3 on him.
Samuels put his forearm up against Robinson's back instead of keeping his hands outside of Robinson. That was a good call.
We got a timeout. Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Dave, Bob. Check in on the game earlier tonight. The Big 12, Iowa State and Baylor. Quincy Acey and the Bears took care of business. Pretty much in control of this one throughout. 79-64 the final. Perry Jones III with 18. UConn women on ESPN2 against Sherry Cole's Oklahoma team. 16-point lead for the Oriemas. Back to Manhattan after this.
Kansas on top by 7. It's a great way to talk to your spouse when you're in a crowded, loud environment. Those are actually connected, so they can talk to each other.
I see that.
All right, time for a look around the Big 12. Take our Big 12 pulse. Kansas and Missouri tied atop the standings. 5 straight wins for Mizzou. They've beaten Kansas this year, and they'll meet one more time. Texas playing better. Our ESPN bracketologist Joe Lenardi has Texas in right now. Of course, a month still to go. Baylor beat Iowa State tonight. We got Baylor on Big Monday a week from tonight in Austin to play the Longhorns. 8-0 run by Kansas, sparked by 2 threes from Tyshawn Taylor. Robinson with a spin. Can't finish with the left, but they just got Samuels for his 4th foul.
What he did that was so good, and Robinson is so good at it, he made a fake of a move to his right shoulder, and the defense moves with it, as you'll see right here. Watch him make this little fake with his right there, and the defense moved with it instead of staying behind him and letting somebody come back in to help. They can't play either one of those guys inside with just one-on-one defense. The pass is made, help has to move to double up on it. That was a big, big foul on Samuels.
Robinson quiet tonight, has been in some foul trouble, but an outstanding year for the junior, who might be the leader right now for National Player of the Year, certainly in the conversation. Can't get the second free throw. 9 straight points for the Jayhawks. Last field goal for Kansas State was 5.5 minutes ago. And who's going to put in the bucket here for the Wildcats?
See, this is the kind of situation that I like Spradling in, because he gets the ball to people. I just think they need Spradling out there.
He's on the bench right now, and Kansas State not even really moving. Shot clock at 3. Rodriguez out of control, falling away, and just a horrible offensive possession. There you see Spradling, Frank Martin shoving Spradling, And now Gibson shoving Robinson to the floor. Spradlin got off the bench. Frank Martin gave him a shove. Couldn't get in there fast enough to replace Rodriguez. As Gibson picks up a foul.
He gives some things to their offense that are really important. And now we've got a foul that just should have never been committed. The foul didn't result in anything that was positive for Kansas State. Just got Kansas a little bit closer to the two-shot foul.
I don't know if slow-mo did it justice. It looked like Martin in real time gave him a pretty good shove to Spradlin. That's the 15th foul on Kansas State. 16 fouls on Kansas. 8-point Jayhawk lead.
Kansas State has basically done a pretty good job in keeping the ball away from people in the post.
What a shot by Tyshawn Taylor. He's got 18 points tonight, and the lead is 10. Kansas State calls a timeout. Boy, since Taylor made that backcourt violation, been terrific. Couple of big threes and that running one-hander on the baseline.
Well, you know, the 1-3 was a lucky one. Yeah.
That was one of the officials coming over asking you about whether it was indeed a backcourt violation. It was. All right, earlier this month, Miami beat Duke and Durham. Can the Canes knock off Carolina? Wednesday night hoops, 8 Eastern, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
It was.
Take you back to those key plays that Tyshawn Taylor made after Kansas State took a 1-point lead.
All right, here Taylor goes after the ball, and now that's got to be a push-off right there. There's just no two ways about it, and it ends up in a very, very important three-point basket. Then he gets another one here. They move the ball, and no one comes out on him quickly. That was probably the two biggest offensive possessions for Kansas in the game.
How about that move, too, then?
I know you like that one.
I do like that one. Over 2 defenders. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, people around the country are making a big deal about Tyshawn Taylor not being on the Cousy Award finalist list. You can't say that he's not one of the 20 best in the country at his position. So Kansas reached out to the Cousy Award and said, is there any way he could be added? They said there is a precedent. They will evaluate it at the end of this month. So don't be shocked if you see his name creep onto that list entering into March. Guys, since that award finalist of the best 20 were announced, he's only averaging 19 points a game and got the #5 team in the country. He might deserve to be on that list.
Well, K-State coach Frank Martin told us today that he thinks Tyshawn Taylor is the best point guard in the country right now. 11 straight points over the last 5 minutes for Kansas, and the Jayhawks had the ball. And you wonder, Kansas State had one run in it. Does it have another?
They've got to watch Teahan. They did a good job there because he comes in and hits a lot of shots coming into a game.
Shot clock at 9.
Walk.
Yep.
Walk.
Traveling on Robinson. Turnover, Kansas.
Right.
Bill Self just looked over you and said, was it a walk? And you said, yeah, coach, it was. Yeah, and he just said, yep, he walked. He took your word for it.
Well, I called it before the official did.
You did. Usually we're on the opposite side of the coaches, but I'm sure they're taking advantage of your presence here, being this close to the benches. Meanwhile, Magruder, nothing in this half. 5 points. Remember, Frank Martin told Holly they really wanted to get him involved in the second half, but he has not scored.
Would really like to see him go at Robinson, because what's Robinson got? 3 fouls, or he's had 3 fouls for several possessions now.
Gibson able to catch and score. Cut the lead to 8.
Yeah, Robinson just played that defensively like he didn't want to commit a 4th foul.
5 to play here at Bramlage Coliseum. Kansas leading by 8. Taylor puts it on the floor and takes it in, soaring to the rim and throwing it down.
Now that resulted with the 2 postmen, Withy and Robinson, getting up high, and that gave Taylor plenty of room to drive baseline. That was very good offensive setup by Kansas.
That's 20 points now for Tyshawn Taylor. 12 and a half. Kansas State comes right back to the bucket. Magruder's first points of the second half.
Well, Magruder made a very quick move to the bucket, and that's the first time with that move to the basket they've beaten Withy inside.
There's Taylor, got free for a moment, defended by the freshman Rodriguez. Robinson, offensive foul, that's his fourth. You take him out if you're Bill Self. Wait a second. Gibson didn't like the contact and got in the face of Robinson. There may be a technical foul here as well. Gibson got up, didn't like what happened. But after Robinson, his teammates stepped in to stop him. And now the officials are talking about it.
I don't think there'll be a technical here. I think they're just telling everybody to calm down a little bit.
The foul was on Robinson, his fourth.
So it should be, he's going in with the ball, so it should be, I would think, Kansas State's ball out of bounds. Here we're going to get a look at it right here. Here comes the pass and the drive. Obviously a charging situation.
Now maybe Robinson there. He got tangled up with Gibson. Let's see here. He was standing over him. Actually looked like it was Gibson really that pushed Robinson. Robinson was just trying to step over him and get out of the way. I don't even think he was paying attention to Gibson. And a technical foul has been called on Gibson. Unnecessary too.
Oh yeah, that's one of the last things you want to have happen down there.
And the officials are going to go to the monitor here, see if there was a flagrant foul committed. Again, Robinson looks like he's trying to get out of the way there, and Gibson didn't like it. And the officials, nobody signaled for a technical, but one of the officials was pointing at Gibson, and then they had the discussion.
I'm not really sure anything happened there that's worthy of a technical foul. You know, get them together and just say, hey, let's go play basketball. I mean, Robinson, I think you were right. Robinson gets tangled up a little bit, but I don't see anything that I'm not really sure why we're talking about a technical here.
Robinson has picked up his fourth foul. Do you take him out of the game right now if you're Bill Self? You got 4:09 on the clock.
I'd take him out on this defensive possession and just see what happens, which I think he's going to do. I think he's just brought Young in for him. I think this should be nothing more than Kansas State ball out of bounds and a foul on Robinson.
But it is a technical foul on Gibson, so 2 free throws for Withy.
Well, boy, there was something there that I didn't really see.
It will be Kansas State ball. 17 fouls on Kansas. That was a player control foul, though, so no free throws for Kansas State on the other end.
This is a huge, huge play for Kansas right here. Let's just look at this again. I just don't. Maybe Gibson grabbed his leg as he was trying to get up. I don't know. I think
perhaps used profanity with the official standing right there.
Yeah, it could have been.
But it is Kansas State ball, but they just give up 2 points as Withy hits the free throws. 10-point Kansas lead. And now another Kansas foul. This will put Kansas State at the line for a 1-and-1. 18th foul on the Jayhawks. They get Johnson for his 3rd personal.
Now that was Spradling moving without the ball. We've talked a lot about Spradling so far, and he was moving without the ball.
He had made 17 consecutive free throws until the miss earlier this half. Hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Kansas State, a team that shoots a lot of free throws, but only 5 in the first half. And trying to get to the line more here in the second half. They'll have opportunities with Kansas over the foul limit. 8-point game.
Kansas has had a little bit of trouble with the full court press that they've put on, that Kansas State has put on.
They've got 1 second to get it over, and they just crossed the line in time. Here's Taylor down the lane. Floater won't go. Got it back. and brings it out.
Well,
that's
a huge possession right there. They can run off another 30 seconds.
Taylor trying to go baseline. It's cut off. Relaford. And a block by Henriquez. Here's Magruder in transition. He'll take it in on the defender. And a foul is called on Relaford, and that is actually on Johnson, rather. That's 4 on him. 8-point game. Kansas State can cut into it when we return.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And in part by the Capital One Cup. Learn more and check the standings at CapitalOneCup.com. And Lexus and their pursuit of perfection.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Earlier on Big Monday, Syracuse and Louisville late in the game. Louisville had taken the lead. C.J. Fair led the Orange with 13. Hit what proved to be the game winner. Syracuse now 26-1. Highlights on SportsCenter, guys.
Reese Magruder at the line shooting 2. He just missed the first one. So Kansas State 8 of 13 at the stripe. Gets the bounce on the second foul shot. 7-point Kansas lead. Over 3 minutes remaining here in regulation. Thomas Robinson remains on the bench for Kansas with 4 fouls. Jeff Withey doing it again for KU. He's got 17 points, 10 rebounds, 7 blocks.
That was a great release by Young at the high post. Very alert move by him. That's where they want to go with this trapping defense, high post.
Check that. Withey has 14 points, 10 rebounds, 7 blocks. Tyshawn Taylor has 20 points, stumbles, now finds Withey. Beautiful pass and finish.
Withey has a great ability to get open inside.
How about that shot by Spradlin? Rainbowed it over the outstretched arm of Withey.
They want to take a lot of time. They want to get down to when they've got less than 15 seconds left on the clock because they can still get a shot there.
And Bill Self going to call a timeout. 2 more for Kansas, 2 remaining for Kansas State. And you would think that Robinson's going back in the game here.
Well.
And he has checked in. Now Kansas State has a win over Missouri, but a couple losses to Oklahoma and Baylor. And look at what they've got coming up. Opportunities to improve their resume, but opportunities for losses as well. At Baylor, at Missouri, Iowa State obviously playing better. What are your thoughts on Kansas, this team, and how they played the last few games? They had that game against Missouri where they blew it at the end, but the win at Baylor and Oklahoma State tonight.
They made some mistakes at the end, but Kansas is a really, really bona fide good team. I mean, I think it's the best team in the league, unless Missouri is.
Yeah.
And when Missouri plays well, as they normally do, they are a very, very good basketball team. Kind of interesting. They bring Withey back as a release, and now I think that we'll see Kansas bring their offense up a little higher.
Shot clock at 9. Taylor working on the freshman Rodriguez. Out of control. Oh, and it went in. Either Withey or Robinson with a tip.
I think Withey got it, but he's hurt.
And so is Robinson. And then Bill Self calls another timeout. The lead is 9. Taylor missed the shot. Both Robinson and Withey went for it. It's a Kansas bucket, but their 2 bigs are injured.
I think they're just shaken up a little bit. I think we'll get a look at who tipped it in here in just a moment. Here comes the drive. I think Withey got it. I think Robinson, in going after it hard, really is the guy that put Withey down.
Yeah, Withey with the bucket, and Robinson got Withey. That's a big bucket, though, for Kansas.
Huge.
Just inside 2 to play. 1 timeout remaining now for the Jayhawks. 11 rebounds, 18 points, and 7 blocks. It's a Jeremy Lin type run that Jeff Withey is on right now. He's not going to get the pub that Lin is, but Withey has really made a difference the last 3 games. Kind of coming out of nowhere.
To me, with this 2 minutes left, Kansas State has got to bring the offense up to the foul line, extend it, and then drive the ball. Looking to get to the free throw line or looking to get all the way to the bucket because Kansas doesn't want to foul. You got to get the court spread.
And Samuels buries a 3. Makes it a 6-point game. That timeout by K-State.
That was really good. Samuels came out high. Defense did not come with him.
Samuels had 8 threes the first 24 games. He's got 4 tonight.
Here we're going to see Samuels comes out to the top. Really good screen set for him. And the thing that was impressive about that was he really took his time to get his footwork set and go into the shot.
20 points, 11 rebounds for Samuels. He averages under 10 points and 6 rebounds per game. We're moments away from SportsCenter. If this game ends in regulation, highlights from Game 1, our big Monday doubleheader. Syracuse at Louisville. Also highlights from the night in the NBA.
If Kansas State can get the ball back without Kansas scoring, they'll still have a chance to win this game. But they got to get it back without any points made by Kansas.
And the next K-State foul would put Kansas at the line for a 1-and-1. That's what's offensive foul here as Rodriguez draws the charge, and Johnson picked up the foul. He's gone. His 5th.
Johnson was just not under control. He came across the 10-second line without seeing that Rodriguez was setting up the trap or attempt to draw it right here. Totally not under control. He left his feet. He had a great opportunity to reverse and go the other side. But that being said, great defensive move by Rodriguez. So in about 4 seconds, they've gotten a chance to come back and cut into that lead a little bit more, that 6-point lead.
So how do you handle this possession here, Coach? You're down 6 in your Kansas State. Your best offense has been Samuels from behind the arc.
Well, I mean, I'd keep Samuels there. I'd bring Samuels back up again, but I'd stay high. I'd want to keep the offense like they are. They're set up high where they're going to have a chance to drive the ball.
Here's Magruder, runs into the double team. Samuels and Robinson defending him. Robinson has 4 fouls. Magruder able to hit on the lane. 4-point game. And another timeout. Kansas State took its final timeout there.
Really a good move on Coach Martin's part in getting things up higher. Now, they now have a 4-point deficit, and they had a 9-point deficit. The last 2 possessions, they got a 3 and a 2 while holding Kansas scoreless. And his moving his offense up higher is what got that done.
Coach, explain the reasoning behind calling your final timeout with 1:14 on the clock.
Well, I think he wants to just make sure that we're going to pick up full court. We're going to get it set. We're going to probably go X into it, and if they have to, they may foul, but they don't want to foul. They don't want to try. The foul isn't going to help them here. What's going to help them is if they can play defense without fouling and get the ball back without Kansas scoring. And just some reminders, I think, that he made.
There's Taylor.
That almost could have been a walk.
Relaford gets it across. Withey is the one guy you don't want to foul. Taylor's not a great free throw shooter. He's only shooting 67%. They do foul him here. It'll be a 1-and-1. That's the 17th foul. Rodriguez comes over to commit the foul.
Well, that's a worthwhile foul. I mean, either that or you just try to keep him all the way down and then not let him get a chance to score. Even if he were to make 2 of these, though, it makes it a lot more difficult for Kansas State.
He misses the front end of the 1-and-1, and it's out of bounds off of Kansas.
That's huge for the Kansas State guys.
And Taylor, again, not a great free throw shooter. Had some misses at the end of that Missouri game as the Tigers won the first meeting between the two schools. Under a minute to go. Here's Spradling for three. Not there. Enriquez back up. No. Loose ball. Taylor's got it. Frank Martin says go foul him. And he traveled instead. Taylor turns it over in the backcourt. Kansas State ball down 4. He was anticipating the foul, wasn't he?
I don't know what he was anticipating there. No, he had 3 people working on him. There had to be a couple of open people there that he didn't see.
Here's Rodriguez off the screen, driving. Withy with the block. Withy again with the rejection, and now Taylor is fouled.
See, that's a play where Rodriguez has got to dump the ball off. I think we're going to see that he could have done that on this move. There, right there's a drop-off pass, and he didn't make it. He makes it. Run that again. Let's see that right here. There's a drop-off pass right to his left, and it would have been a bucket, and that's what he had to do. Oh, right there. Drop it off. Get it away from Withy.
His 9th block to go along with 11 rebounds and 18 points. What a 3-game stretch for Jeff Withy. As good as anybody in the country the last 3 games.
A drop-off pass there takes it down to a 1-possession game.
Taylor missed the front end of a 1-and-1 earlier. Bricks that one. Yeah, not even close. Kansas State ball down 4. Inside 30 seconds left. Will they go for a 2 or a 3? Spradling backdoor, blew the layup. Rebound Robinson and a foul. Rodriguez found Spradling, but he couldn't finish.
What Spradling had to do there was catch it and come down, not try and take the shot. If he catches it, watch this move right. Catch it, come down. There's nobody there. He had a chance to dump it off to the big man right there, just as they had a moment ago when Rodriguez went in. That's the importance of taking the ball to the bucket. Know where people are open. Guards have got to be able to take it to the bucket and use the drop pass to score. That's 2 times in a row they didn't, and it's made a huge difference in this game.
And Robinson hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Make it a 5-point Kansas lead.
A drop-off pass would have made this a tie game, Dave, right here. Both guards tried to do something that wasn't there for them.
That's kind of been the story of the night. Kansas State's offense. Robinson got them both. 6-point lead. Now you need 3s. 21 seconds left. Here's a screen for Rodriguez, and he's way off. And Relaford able to save it, but then almost threw it away. And Tehan traveled, so it will be K-State ball. 10.5 on the clock.
Samuels was screening for Rodriguez, and it really should have been the other way around. Rodriguez setting the screen for Samuels, because as you've indicated 2 or 3 times, Samuels has been very effective from the 3-point range tonight.
And he's upset. I don't know if maybe because Rodriguez didn't get it to him after that screen, he wanted the attempt on the 3-pointer. He was fired up going to the bench. Kansas just called his final timeout.
If we were to put something together right now to show at least what I thought were the most important sequences in the game, it would be those 2 opportunities when the guards, first of all Spradling and then secondly Rodriguez, going to the bucket, had a chance to make the drop-off pass. And that's what a great guard does. He knows where somebody is open. He knows that there can be an excellent chance of him getting something blocked.
Kansas by 6. Kansas State with the ball. How about this run that Jeff Withy is on right now? 1 block shy of a triple-double tonight after a 20-rebound effort against Oklahoma State and a 25-point game against Baylor. How much better, Coach, does he make Kansas?
He makes them much, much better. Much better. He takes a lot of pressure off Robinson. He adds something enormously to their defense with his movement around the lane. And when people take a chance on going at him, they have got to be going to the bucket, bring Withey to him, and then find the drop-off man. And they had that chance twice, as we've said, and didn't get it done here, which would have brought it down to a tie game.
Magruder able to hit it, but it's a two. His foot was on the line. So it's 57-53, 8.1 on the clock. Stopping just to again confirm with the scores table that's a 2. We had it correct actually on the scoreboard here. They had it down as a 3, but it was a 2. 57-53. Inbound to Taylor, but the foul first in the backcourt on Tehan, who's a very good free throw shooter at 81%. Here are those key plays you talked about, missed opportunities for Kansas State.
All right, watch where the drop-off pass, right there. Little drop-off pass, and Withey can't get it. We're going to have a dunk shot if there's a drop-off there. That was Spradlin. Now, there's Spradlin, and the first one was Rodriguez going to the bucket. We turned him around a little bit, but that's exactly what should have happened in both cases. Find the big guy, let him go to the bucket hard with it.
Tehan gets them both. 6-point lead with 6.8 on the clock. Through the hands of Magruder, it'll be Kansas ball, and the Jayhawks are going to win at Bramlage Coliseum for the 22nd time in 24 tries. Jayhawks had a 10-point lead at half. Kansas State came back, took the lead. Tyshawn Taylor hit a couple of key threes, and Kansas wins its 21st game of the year, 23rd straight year with 21 wins or more, and they're now 11-2 in the Big 12, a half game up on Missouri.
Again, you brought it up a couple of times, Dave. I think that no one has had a better addition to their team anywhere in the country than Withey has been to Kansas. He just gives them so much more than they have had without him.
He was one block shy of a triple-double tonight as number 5 Kansas wins on the road at rival Kansas State 59-53. Sports Center up next for Bob Knight, Holly Rowe, our entire crew. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. I'm Dave Pasch. So long from Manhattan, Kansas. Sports Center right now.
That just knocked the snow off the roof.
This is Sports Center.